Welcome back to Flipping Pages, Stirring Sauces. And if it is your first time here, welcome. Please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and to comment. This morning, it's actually early morning. It's 12:44 a.m. And I would like to speak directly to the members of ECOWAS. Now, a few years back, the president of Ghana had the Year of Return celebration in which he apologized for his ancestors, selling my ancestors into slavery. And for a while there, that apology meant something. And he was encouraging the descendants of slaves who were living in the Caribbean and other places in the world to return to Ghana and make their homes there. Today, that apology doesn't mean a thing to me. And return to what? Return to a country that is being led by a man whose testicles are in a jar on a shelf? No, your ancestors put my ancestors into chains and sold them to the slave masters. Your ancestors had the spirit of Cain against Abel, Esau against Jacob, and today you still have that spirit because your ancestors sold your cousins into slavery, and today your brothers and sisters are trying to break free from that bondage. And you, Nana Akufo-Addo, you and the other members of ECOWAS are trying to keep them into that slavery. What you're doing today is no different from what your ancestors did to my ancestors. And that is very wrong. And you see the other thing with me personally, my brother and I could be having the biggest disagreement. We could be trying to kill each other. But you see, if an enemy comes against my brother, doesn't matter how angry I am at my brother and how much I disagree with him, I'm going to help him to defeat that enemy. Once we've defeated that enemy, we can go back to the bull crap that we were going on with. We can go back to killing each other because he's my brother. But I'm not going to pick up arms against my brother for the enemy. And I do believe, even though the Bible is very corrupt because they took our spiritual books and corrupted it, it does say that we should be careful about the strangers among us. And as I said, your ancestors sold my ancestors to the strangers among us. And you would help those strangers to take away what rightfully belongs to your brother, because your brother wants to stand up for what belongs to him. I would like you to really look into yourself and see exactly what it is that you're doing. Now, that corrupted Bible also said, those that lead into captivity will be taken into captivity. And that has happened. Because you see, after your ancestors sold your cousins into captivity, they were colonized. And that was your captivity. And again, you will be taken into captivity, because those who lead into captivity will themselves be taken into captivity. And tonight I want to say, or this morning, I want to say to Joseph Burrell, stay in your garden and stay out of my brothers and sisters' jungle. They're quite happy in their jungle. You see, the jungle produces everything they need. So they don't need anything from you. You wanted the walls around the garden to be high so that those who live in the jungle couldn't get into the garden. Well, my brothers and sisters are very happy in their jungle. So stay out of their jungle. And oh, by the way, why don't you go take a nap, a permanent nap, in your garden? That's an order. Go take a permanent nap in your garden. And the next time you open your mouth to say something condescending about Africans or about melanated people, I pray that the Creator, the Most High, I'm speaking it, takes the breath out of you. I've put it out there to the universe, and if it catches you, so be it. You see, He's given me that power to speak things into existence and sit back and watch them happen. And the other thing, I would like to thank Emmanuel Macron, or whatever his name is, for all the weapons that he has dropped off in Africa. My gratitude for them. It just means that we didn't have to come to your home turf to get them. You think that those weapons are going to be used against my brothers and sisters in the continent. But I've got news for you. They'll be used against you and those who are in collusion with you. They won't be used against my brothers and sisters. They will be used against you. So I want to say my gratitude for bringing them to my brothers and sisters in Africa. And the other thing is, you have no right to go into my brothers and sisters' kitchen and try to stir their soup and steal their soup and try to drink right out of my brothers and sisters' pot. Not going to happen. It is a new dawn. Your time is up. And so you go back and forth across the earth making mischief. You're desperate. We don't want anything from you. My brothers and sisters in Africa, they don't want anything from you. Get your army out of Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, and wherever else you are on the continent of Africa, because you think this is going to be a walk in the park, but you have something else coming to you. You see, you people corrupted our spiritual book and told us about to love our neighbor, love our enemies as ourselves. Well, the Creator that I worship, the Most High that I worship, He said an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. And that's the philosophy that I subscribe to. I'm not gonna love something that is trying to destroy me and trying to destroy me over what belongs to me. You need to go back to where you came from, because you are one of the strangers among us. And these days, Google has changed it to the aliens among us. The Creator said, be careful of the strangers among you. And I picked up this Bible, which has been corrupted, to read a certain chapter. But when I opened it, it opened to a different chapter. I'm just going to read a little bit of it. Deuteronomy 32 from verse 15. But Jezreel waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook God, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to God, to gods whom they knew not, new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful, and as forgotten God that formed you. And when the Most High saw it, he abhorred them, because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And that is exactly what France is doing, provoking the chosen sons and daughters of the Creator. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very forward generation, children in whom is no faith. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. So, ECOWAS, you're mixing and mingling with those who are not a nation. They are not even real. I saw one of the leaders of one of the ECOWAS nations associating with that lizard who started the World Economic Forum. And I was very disappointed. Night, son, love you. I was very disappointed. I was very disappointed to see that, because he is preaching independence, and yet he's associating with reptiles, and he doesn't even recognize a reptile for what it is. And once again, be careful of the strangers among you. And my African brothers and sisters, please don't let these entities come to Africa and drop anything in the mouths of your babies. Focus on what your ancestors did. When your ancestors needed to heal someone from an illness, they turned to the forest. The entire continent of Africa is a medicine basket. Every time you turn around, you're stepping on medicine. Every time you turn around, you're bumping into medicine. Do not let these strangers among you drop anything into the mouths of your babies. Focus on the ancestors. Do what the ancestors did. African slaves taught the Western nations how to do C-sections. And they didn't knock those women out to do those C-sections. They knew what to do in order to numb those mothers while they cut their stomachs open and delivered babies. And those women were conscious and they didn't feel the pain because those midwives who were African slaves knew what to do. We need to cast our eyes upon our ancestors and their ways. And we need to turn back to that entity that created us. We call him the Most High, Yahweh. I give you my peace. I give you my Ahab. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Until next time, Shalom.